So one of the ways that we can think about how stress actually affects the body is in terms of a cup. Now, if you haven't watched the video on different types of stress, go back and find that in the playlist or in the feed and listen to that or watch that video, because that'll kind of feeds into what we're talking about now. Now, if you think about everything that happens throughout your day is just like pouring water into a cup. So as we spoke about, the three different types of stress can be physical, chemical, or emotional. Whenever you have a stressful situation, whether it be a micro or a macro situation of stress, it's almost like pouring water into your cup. Now, you'll have to excuse my drawing, but this over here is your cup. Adding water to that cup will start filling it up throughout the day. Now, just like this is related to the stress threshold that I have spoken about, this is just a different way to kind of think about it. So each time something happens, it's like adding more and more water to that cup. Eventually what happens is if you reach the top of that cup and it starts to overflow, you will have reached your stress threshold. That's all that your body or your nervous system can handle for that day. Now obviously what you want to do, the aim is to really try and take water out of that cup faster than life is throwing the water into that cup from your stress threshold. Now, the more that you can try and minimize the effect of stress on the body, the more ability you have to adapt to your environment and actually go about your day from a point of view where you're not reacting. So, what can we do to try and decrease the water in that cup or take water out? This really does relate to our pillars of health. Again, if you haven't listened to the Pillars of Health podcast or watched the Pillars of Health video, go back and listen to those. But essentially, things that we can try and do to minimize that stress on our body relate to rest and sleep, taking the appropriate amount of time to let your body recover from whatever's happened throughout that day. You also need to focus on exercise or doing some kind of movement throughout your day. Obviously, making sure that you are able to move around as much as possible and then fit some exercise that does raise the heart rate as well. Another thing is making sure you've got the proper nutrition or diet. Having a proper nutritional diet really is going to set your body up for the best level of health that you can achieve. Making sure you're drinking enough water fits into that as well. You should really be having between 6 and 8 glasses of water today to keep your body hydrated and keep all the processes that happen throughout the day, all those chemical reactions, fueled correctly. So essentially what we want to do is make sure that you're doing everything you can to empty that cup faster than life is filling it up. Because really, we can't stop stress from happening. We can't stop things like our boss, we can't stop finances, we can't stop coronavirus, all these things from happening. But we can really try and mitigate that by doing everything we can to set ourselves up so that our body is better able to respond to that and not react to that.